Ladies and gentlemen, I invite you to open your mind and heart to a profound truth. Intelligence is not merely a measure of what you have learned, but a reflection of your willingness to receive, to understand, and to apply the wisdom that surrounds you. Many walk through life underestimating their own mind, believing that brilliance is reserved for a chosen few. Yet the infinite spirit within you whispers every day, "You are far greater than you think." Every experience, every moment of observation, every encounter with another soul is a teacher. Your mind is a fertile garden, and the seeds you plant, the thoughts you dwell upon, will bloom into knowledge and discernment. Do not doubt that the simplest action of watching a video, reading a page, or listening to a lesson can activate your latent faculties. For the mind responds not to difficulty alone, but to clarity, openness, and receptivity. Now, consider this: when you watch this very video, you are aligning yourself with a stream of higher understanding. Each word, each insight is a key unlocking doors within you that you may not have known existed. You may feel small or ordinary, but the truth is that intelligence is like an infinite light, waiting for your permission to shine through. All you need to do is allow yourself to absorb, to reflect, and to act upon the knowledge you gain. Fear not that you are not smart enough. Fear not that you lack insight, for the divine mind within you is always ready, always present, always waiting to illuminate your path. The very act of listening, of paying attention, and of embracing understanding is an act of awakening your own genius. And genius is not rare. It is the birthright of every human soul. As you move forward from this moment, remember that each small effort to learn, each moment spent in reflection, is a declaration of your worthiness to know, to grow, and to express your innate brilliance. Speak to yourself in words of empowerment. I am wise. I am capable. I am open to the intelligence of the universe flowing through me. Allow these words to settle in your consciousness, for they are not mere affirmations, they are the law of your mind in action. So, my friends, let this video be more than a fleeting moment of entertainment. Let it be a spark that awakens the intellect, that opens doors within your soul, and that reminds you that the power to be smarter, wiser, and more perceptive has always resided within you. All that is required is your willingness to recognize it and to let it flourish. You are more intelligent, more capable, and more luminous than you have ever allowed yourself to believe. And now, this moment is your invitation to claim it. Every human being carries within them a vast reservoir of intelligence, a luminous mind that often lies dormant, waiting for the gentle touch of awareness to awaken it. Most of us move through life underestimating the depth and capacity of our own minds. We look to others, to teachers, to books, to authorities, believing that knowledge is something outside of us that must be sought and earned, rather than recognizing that intelligence is an inherent gift, a divine endowment that is already ours. The first step toward unlocking your inner intelligence is to shift your perspective from limitation to abundance, from doubt to faith, and from passivity to awareness. Intelligence is not a trait you gain by accident. It is a living force that responds to your willingness to recognize it, to honor it, and to use it. Many have wandered through life believing that intelligence is measured by grades, titles, or accolades, when in truth, the mind's true brilliance is revealed in its capacity to perceive truth, to grasp understanding, and to respond to life with clarity. The very act of noticing, of observing carefully, is an expression of your intelligence. Every experience you encounter, whether it appears pleasant or challenging, carries within it the seed of wisdom. Life is a mirror that reflects back to you the depth of your awareness, and your intelligence is sharpened by your ability to discern, to extract meaning, and to apply insight from these reflections. Therefore, unlocking your inner intelligence begins with a conscious practice of observation, attention, and reflection. Consider the moments of your daily life. Each encounter, each task, each problem presents an opportunity for your intelligence to arise. When you allow yourself to be fully present, when you stop rushing and start observing, you begin to perceive patterns and connections that would otherwise pass unnoticed. You realize that intelligence is not merely an accumulation of facts, but the art of seeing relationships, understanding cause and effect, and responding appropriately. It is the ability to adapt, to find solutions, and to create new pathways where none seemed possible. The mind, when fully engaged and aware, is like a finely tuned instrument, vibrating with the energy of creativity, wisdom, and insight. Many have experienced the feeling of being stuck or limited in their thinking, believing that their capacity for intelligence is fixed or that certain ideas are beyond their grasp. This is an illusion, for intelligence is not a finite resource. It is a living, growing force that expands in proportion to your willingness to engage with it. When you confront challenges, when you explore new concepts, and when you stretch beyond your habitual patterns of thought, your inner intelligence awakens and reveals its vast potential. You may be surprised at how quickly understanding emerges once you give yourself permission. Oh, listen to your own mind, to trust your own instincts, and to follow the subtle promptings of insight that arise from within. The unlocking of intelligence is also a matter of aligning with the higher source of wisdom that resides within every human soul. Often we rely solely on the mind as we know it, thinking, analyzing, memorizing, without realizing that there is a deeper intelligence, a higher consciousness, that speaks through intuition, inspiration, and the subtle nudges of awareness. To unlock this inner intelligence, one must cultivate stillness, patience, and receptivity. Meditation, reflection, and quiet moments of thought allow the mind to connect with this higher intelligence, providing clarity and guidance that ordinary reasoning alone cannot achieve. The intelligence within you is not separate from life. It is life itself, expressing through your thoughts, decisions, and actions. One of the most important steps in this process is to release the habit of self-judgment and comparison. Many people diminish their own mental abilities by measuring themselves against others or by doubting their capacity to comprehend complex ideas. Yet the mind is not a competition. It is a garden that grows according to the care, attention, and nourishment it receives. When you stop criticizing yourself for what you cannot do and begin to affirm what you are capable of understanding, your inner intelligence flourishes. Affirmation is not merely positive thinking, it is the conscious acknowledgement of the mind's innate capacity to perceive, understand, and act wisely. By repeatedly affirming your ability to grasp concepts, solve problems, and learn from every situation, you activate latent mental powers that would otherwise remain dormant. Another vital aspect of unlocking your inner intelligence is the willingness to embrace curiosity. Curiosity is the engine of the mind. It is the spark that ignites exploration, experimentation, and discovery. When you approach life with an open mind, asking questions and seeking understanding without fear of failure or embarrassment, you open the door to insights that were previously inaccessible. Every question you ask, every idea you entertain, every perspective you consider expands the horizon of your thinking. Intelligence grows when it is exercised, challenged, and applied, and curiosity provides the stimulus necessary for this growth. Furthermore, the unlocking of intelligence requires courage, the courage to step beyond familiar patterns of thought, to explore new ideas, and to trust your own capacity to understand. Fear of being wrong, fear of appearing ignorant, or fear of making mistakes can keep the mind confined within narrow boundaries. Yet the mind, like a river, flows most powerfully when it is unimpeded, exploring new channels and encountering obstacles that stimulate growth. By embracing challenges as opportunities for learning, by seeing mistakes as teachers rather than failures, you allow your intelligence to expand naturally and gracefully. In practical terms, unlocking your inner intelligence involves consistent practice in observation, reflection, and application. Begin each day by setting the intention to notice and absorb insights from your surroundings. Pay attention to conversations, read attentively, and allow ideas to percolate in your mind. Reflect on experiences with honesty and clarity, discerning lessons and extracting meaning. Finally, apply what you have learned in tangible ways, whether in your work, relationships, or personal growth. Action solidifies understanding, transforming abstract knowledge into lived intelligence. Do not underestimate the power of small, consistent steps. A moment of awareness, a fleeting insight, a single decision guided by discernment can expand your intelligence in ways that are profound and lasting. The mind responds to intention and focus. By consciously directing your attention toward understanding, insight, and wisdom, you cultivate the fertile soil in which intelligence grows. Each effort to learn, to comprehend, and to integrate knowledge is like watering the seeds of your mental garden, ensuring that your inner intelligence flourishes abundantly. Remember also that intelligence is amplified by generosity of thought. Sharing ideas, teaching, and guiding others is not merely an act of service, it is an act of reinforcement for your own mind. By articulating insights, explaining concepts, and engaging with others' perspectives, your own understanding deepens and strengthens. The mind thrives in connection, and every opportunity to exchange ideas with others nourishes your inner intelligence, revealing layers of understanding that might otherwise remain hidden. Ultimately, unlocking your inner intelligence is a process of awakening to the truth that you are a being of limitless capacity. Your mind is not bound by the limitations of circumstance, upbringing, or past experiences. Every challenge, every lesson, every moment of reflection is a key that unlocks doors within your consciousness, revealing the profound depth of your own understanding. Intelligence is not something you earn or achieve. It is something you recognize and allow to express through you. It is always present, always ready, always waiting for the moment when you will acknowledge it and let it guide your thoughts, decisions, and actions. As you cultivate awareness, curiosity, courage, and generosity of thought, your intelligence unfolds naturally, effortlessly, and powerfully. You begin to see the world not as a collection of problems, but as a living laboratory in which your mind can experiment, learn, and grow. You begin to realize that the true measure of intelligence is not in what you know, but in your capacity to perceive truth, to discern wisdom, and to apply understanding in every moment. Your mind becomes a source of illumination, insight, and creative power, guiding you through life with clarity and confidence, revealing the endless possibilities that lie before you, and reminding you that the brilliance of your intelligence has always been within. Waiting for your recognition. Receptivity is the key that unlocks the hidden genius within every human being. Many live their lives resisting the flow of intelligence, thinking they must force understanding, labor to gain insight, or struggle against life in order to be wise. Yet genius does not emerge through resistance. It awakens in the soil of openness, in the heart that is willing to receive, and in the mind that is ready to embrace new ideas. The first step toward activating your inner genius is to cultivate a state of receptivity, to recognize that knowledge and understanding are not limited to effort alone, but are gifts flowing to you from the infinite, waiting only for your readiness to accept them. Every individual possesses unique faculties of mind that are often dormant, simply because they have not been engaged with openness and willingness. Receptivity begins with the understanding that intelligence is not only in books, lessons, or instruction, but is in life itself. Each moment carries lessons that your mind can absorb, but only if you allow yourself to be attentive, present, and open. A closed mind, one resistant to new ideas, skepticism without inquiry, or fear of being influenced, limits the natural genius that is waiting to emerge. To become receptive, one must quiet the inner critic, silence the chatter of doubt, and create a space within for insight to enter and flourish. Consider the way the mind responds when it is willing to listen rather than dominate. Receptivity is not passive. It is an active engagement in which you allow understanding to enter without resistance, giving it room to unfold naturally. When you are open, ideas, solutions, and connections come to you effortlessly. You begin to notice patterns and relationships that were invisible before. You find clarity where there was confusion, and inspiration arises in moments that once felt ordinary. Genius is not a distant attribute possessed by a select few. It is a living, breathing force within you, ready to respond the moment you align yourself with it through receptivity. Many have the mistaken belief that genius is something to be manufactured by effort, that brilliance is achieved only by pushing the mind to its limits through force. While effort has its place, the greatest breakthroughs occur when the mind is relaxed, open, and receptive. Nature itself demonstrates this principle. A seed germinates not through struggle, but through alignment with light, water, and warmth. Similarly, your mind flourishes when you create conditions for insight, clarity, and understanding to grow. Receptivity involves patience, trust, and the willingness to let ideas come to you, rather than forcing them through strain or anxiety. The mind's receptivity can be cultivated through deliberate practices. Begin each day by affirming your willingness to receive knowledge and understanding. Speak to yourself silently or aloud with words such as, "I am open to wisdom. I am receptive to insights from every source. My mind is ready to perceive truth." These affirmations are not mere words. They are the signals you send to your subconscious mind, which is always ready to respond to your conscious intentions. The more you practice this openness, the more easily genius will emerge, because your mind is no longer obstructed by resistance, fear, or doubt. Listening is another essential element of receptivity. Truly receptive individuals are not preoccupied with their own judgments, their assumptions, or their need to respond immediately. They listen deeply, to ideas, to experiences, to the subtle guidance of intuition. In this listening, understanding arises naturally. The mind, when receptive, absorbs information not just intellectually, but spiritually and emotionally as well. The connections that form in this state often surpass what could be produced by deliberate reasoning alone. Genius is often the result of synthesis, the bringing together of disparate ideas into a coherent whole. And this synthesis requires a mind that is receptive and alert. Fear and doubt are the greatest enemies of receptivity. When the mind is dominated by worry, skepticism, or a lack of confidence, the natural flow of intelligence is blocked. Thoughts become rigid, understanding becomes fragmented, and insight struggles to reach the conscious mind. To counteract this, cultivate faith in your own ability to receive, comprehend, and apply wisdom. Trust that the universe, the infinite mind, or whatever source of higher intelligence you recognize, is always communicating with you, always providing opportunities for insight and guidance. The mind that is receptive operates like a magnet, drawing ideas, solutions, and creative impulses to itself effortlessly. Receptivity also involves humility, the recognition that no matter how much you know, there is always more to learn. Pride and stubbornness constrict the mind, while humility expands it. When you acknowledge that every person, every situation, and every moment carries a lesson, you open yourself to receive it. You begin to see that genius is not a static quality, but a dynamic unfolding, a continuous flow of understanding that grows as you participate with openness, curiosity, and attentiveness. Receptivity, therefore, is both an attitude and a practice, a willingness to let the mind be shaped by experience, rather than confined by preconceptions. It is important to note that genius does not manifest in isolation from action. Receptivity is the doorway through which understanding enters, but the mind must also apply this understanding to create, solve, and innovate. Ideas, insights, and solutions gained through receptivity must be expressed in thought, word, or deed. The receptive mind recognizes opportunities, but it also acts decisively when guidance is received. Action guided by inner intelligence amplifies genius, creating a cycle in which receptivity and application reinforce one another. The more you apply what you receive, the more your mind becomes attuned to receive even greater insights. Many people underestimate the power of ordinary moments to cultivate genius. Reading, listening, observing, and even quiet reflection are all opportunities for the receptive mind to expand. Genius is not only revealed in extraordinary breakthroughs, it is expressed in the subtle ability to see connections, to discern truth, and to respond with clarity in everyday life. By practicing openness and attentiveness consistently, your mind becomes a fertile ground in which insight grows naturally, and your inner genius flourishes without struggle or strain. Your imagination is another powerful tool in activating genius. A receptive mind does not reject ideas that seem unconventional, abstract, or unfamiliar. Instead, it entertains them, explores them, and allows them to unfold in creative ways. Imagination and intuition are closely linked to receptivity, for they operate in the subtle realm of thought and consciousness where logic alone cannot reach. When you combine an open mind with active imagination, you create conditions for extraordinary solutions, innovative ideas, and unexpected insights. Genius often appears at the intersection of insight, creativity, and willingness to receive, where the mind transcends ordinary limitations and discovers new possibilities. To cultivate receptivity, it is also essential to maintain a sense of wonder and curiosity. Approach life with a childlike eagerness to learn, to explore, and to understand. Each day presents countless lessons, and each lesson carries a spark of genius waiting to be recognized. By remaining curious and open, you align yourself with the natural flow of intelligence, allowing understanding to enter effortlessly. Every person you meet, every book you read, every experience you encounter is a teacher, and the receptive mind recognizes the wisdom inherent in all things. Finally, the practice of receptivity reminds us that genius is not something we chase or force. It is something we welcome, something that responds to our openness, our faith, and our attentiveness. By creating space within your mind and heart, by releasing fear and doubt, by embracing humility, curiosity, and imagination, you allow the hidden intelligence within you to shine. Receptivity is the gateway to genius, the key to awakening the latent brilliance that has always resided within your consciousness, waiting to emerge when you are ready to receive, recognize, and express it. Every human being carries within them a divine spark, a brilliance that is unique and irreplaceable, yet so often goes unrecognized because we fail to claim it consciously. Many live under the shadow of doubt, comparing themselves to others, and measuring their worth by external standards, forgetting that the source of true brilliance is already alive within them. To affirm and claim your brilliance is to step into the fullness of your inherent power, to acknowledge the wisdom, creativity, and insight that have always resided within you, and to allow them to express themselves without hesitation or apology. It begins with a conscious decision to speak to yourself in words of empowerment, to reinforce the truth of your own mind, and to trust in the infinite intelligence that flows through you. Affirmation is not merely repetition of words, it is a deliberate alignment of thought, feeling, and intention with the higher truth of your being. When you declare, "I am brilliant, I am capable, I am guided by infinite wisdom," you are planting seeds in the fertile soil of your consciousness. These seeds germinate slowly, quietly, often unnoticed at first, but they carry the power to transform your entire perception of yourself and the world around you. Every thought you affirm is a signal to your subconscious mind, which always responds to direction, always organizes circumstances in harmony with your declared intentions, and always reveals the inner brilliance you acknowledge. Many people fail to recognize their brilliance because they wait for external validation, praise, or recognition before they dare to claim it. Yet the truth is that your brilliance does not depend upon the acknowledgement of others. It is inherent, unchanging, and always present. When you seek approval outside yourself, before affirming your worth, you delay the awakening of your inner genius. By affirming your brilliance, you declare to yourself first and foremost that you are capable, intelligent, and creative, independent of outside circumstances or opinions. This internal recognition is far more powerful than any external accolade, for it aligns you with the natural flow of intelligence, insight, and opportunity. To claim your brilliance, one must first release self-doubt and self-criticism. These are the most insidious blocks to self-recognition, whispering that your talents are insufficient, that your mind is limited, or that your ideas are unworthy. Such thoughts are illusions, distortions that mask the infinite potential of your own consciousness. When you identify and release these limiting beliefs, you create space for your true intelligence to emerge. Affirmations are particularly effective when directed at dissolving these blocks. Repeatedly telling yourself, "I release doubt and embrace my inner wisdom," or "I am worthy of expressing my brilliance," sets a powerful law in motion that gradually transforms the mind and its habitual patterns, allowing the light of genius to shine more brightly. The act of claiming your brilliance is closely tied to visualization. As you affirm your intelligence, creativity, and capability, see yourself living from this empowered state. Picture yourself responding to challenges with clarity, making wise decisions, creating solutions effortlessly, and contributing your unique talents to the world. Visualization amplifies the effects of affirmation because the mind does not distinguish between what is vividly imagined and what is real. It responds to the clarity of the inner picture as if it is already present. In this way, your brilliance becomes not a distant goal, but a living reality unfolding within your consciousness. Another important element in claiming your brilliance is the conscious use of words. Words are powerful vehicles of thought, capable of shaping perception, influencing emotions, and directing the subconscious mind. Speak to yourself with precision and care. Avoid words that diminish your capacity, such as "I can't," "I'm not smart enough," or "I will never understand." Replace them with declarations of confidence and capability. Words spoken with faith, consistency, and feeling resonate within the mind and soul, awakening faculties that may have lain dormant and activating the natural genius that resides within. Affirming brilliance also involves recognizing the unique gifts that you already possess. Each individual has talents, skills, and perspectives that no one else can offer. Take time to reflect on your achievements, the challenges you have overcome, the insights you have gained, and the contributions you have already made. Celebrate these successes, however small they may seem, for they are evidence of your innate capacity. By consciously acknowledging your gifts, you strengthen your sense of self-worth and create a magnetic field that attracts further opportunities for expression and growth. Claiming your brilliance is not a passive act. It requires courage, commitment, and consistent practice. It requires you to act in alignment with your affirmations, to make decisions that reflect confidence in your own mind, and to engage fully with life from a place of empowered intelligence. Courage is essential because the act of claiming brilliance often challenges old habits, confronts doubt, and defies the opinions of others who may not recognize or understand your potential. By persistently affirming your capability, acting with confidence, and trusting in your inner wisdom, you strengthen the channels through which brilliance flows. King your mind, a living instrument of creativity, insight, and intelligence. It is also essential to understand that claiming brilliance is not a solitary endeavor. It flourishes through engagement with the world. When you share your insights, teach, create, or lead, you not only express your own genius but also illuminate paths for others. Every interaction becomes an opportunity to demonstrate intelligence, creativity, and discernment. Generosity of thought and expression multiplies brilliance, creating a ripple effect that enhances your own understanding while benefiting those around you. The mind that affirms its capability and expresses its gifts in the world becomes a powerful magnet for opportunity, inspiration, and recognition. Affirmation and claiming of brilliance also work in harmony with the natural laws of the universe. The mind is a creative force, and what you consistently affirm and believe internally shapes the circumstances and experiences you attract externally. By consciously declaring your brilliance, you align yourself with the currents of intelligence, opportunity, and creativity. The universe responds to clarity of thought, faith, and expectation, and by affirming your capabilities, you activate the invisible forces that bring understanding, innovation, and success into your life. Repetition and consistency are key. The mind strengthens its connection to truth through regular practice. Daily affirmations, repeated with feeling and conviction, become imprinted on the subconscious mind, gradually transforming belief into lived reality. The subconscious mind, once convinced of your brilliance, organizes circumstances, attracts resources, and opens doors that support the expression of your innate genius. The more faithfully you affirm, visualize, and act from your inner wisdom, the more effortlessly your brilliance flows and manifests in every aspect of life. It is also important to cultivate a sense of joy and gratitude in the process of claiming your brilliance. When you rejoice in your abilities, celebrate insights, and express gratitude for the gifts already present, you create an environment in which intelligence and creativity thrive. Gratitude reinforces awareness of abundance, strengthens faith in your own capacities, and attracts further inspiration. By combining affirmation, visualization, action, and gratitude, you create a powerful system through which your innate genius is awakened, nurtured, and expressed in every dimension of your existence. Finally, claiming your brilliance reminds you that intelligence, creativity, and insight are not achievements to be earned externally. They are inherent qualities of your being. They reside within you now, ready to be acknowledged, trusted, and expressed. Every thought you cultivate, every word you speak to yourself, and every act you take in alignment with your inner wisdom reinforces your capacity to live, think, and act from a place of power, clarity, and brilliance. By affirming your genius daily, embracing your unique gifts, and consistently acting in alignment with your highest potential, you awaken the mind's full capacity, allowing your brilliance to shine through effortlessly, illuminating your path, guiding your decisions, and transforming your life.